Welcome, everybody, to our edition of Lunch and Learn, our Salt Talks Lunch and Learn. We hold this the second Wednesday of every month, and we touch on a topic, usually a specific topic that is concerning with transition or any point in our lives with our children with disabilities. So over the course of this last year, we looked at many, many topics dealing with transition, um, anything from school transition to employment transition to independent living and then guardianship and Social Security. But this month we're looking at assistive technology and what's out there to help our children maybe live independently, stay safe while doing that. We talked with the Ohio tech ambassadors during our earlier session for SALT Talks. Um, and today we are going to be talking with AngelSense and some of the techniques or assistive technology that they offer. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeannie, and I made you co-host so you can share your screen.
Perfect. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Patty. I appreciate it. So good morning or good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeannie Callahan. I'm actually in New York City. I am the special accounts manager for AngelSense. I've been with AngelSense for over 7 years now, which I cannot believe. But I want to give you a little history of who I am because I think it'll really help explain why I'm here and why I'm so excited to show you everything. I originally was in education for over 20 years. I was a school principal. Then I got married. Then I had kids. Did everything a little backwards. My two children were both diagnosed with autism when they were both around 3 years old, and clearly, with that type of diagnosis and knowing how much therapies they would need, I had to leave my job to, just be sure I was on top of them at all times. But my younger son, Tommy, um, when he was 3, he was nonverbal at the time. He went missing. And it was probably the most terrifying 30 minutes of my life. We were living on the water at the time. So as I was running up and down the street searching for him, my husband was looking in the water, God forbid, searching for him as well. We did find him. He had a thing for license plates and numbers and letters. So he gravitated towards cars and was literally barefoot with a diaper on chasing cars on a major area. So I even get upset thinking about it because it was such a terrible time in my life. But then it happened again about a month later when we were in upstate New York in a wooded area, and he gravitated towards the major highway to see the cars as well. So we knew we had to find a solution for him. And we did with AngelSense. We did a lot of research, and when we found AngelSense, um, we immediately started to use it, and he still eloped. But the difference is that a 30 to 40 minute wandering elopement situation went to 1 to 2 minutes because we were found out immediately that he had taken off somewhere, and because of the technology and because of the application, we were able to find him within minutes. So you can understand 30 minutes to 2 minutes, what that really can mean for individuals when it comes to safety. I'm very happy to say that Tommy no longer elopes. He's 11 now. But now the tool that we've used, AngelSense, to allow his safety, we now see as a crucial tool to his independence and things that he needs to be able to do going forward in life. So we really see this as just an addition to him. Um, uh, just as he makes his way through life, trying to live life as typically as possible with other individuals. So that being said, AngelSense only hires individuals who, for their customer support, who use the device with their loved ones. So I got the opportunity to start working again, and I have been thrilled to have this type of a journey with them and to be able to literally use this as my vocation to let families know what we have, how it works. And since I'm a primary reason for why AngelSense works because my son has been saved so many times, I'm just so happy to share this with all of you. So that being said, what is AngelSense? It's an assistive technology for individuals with special needs, and it doesn't just have to be autism. It's any type of a special need that you could possibly think of. Anyone who may be vulnerable in the community, even as high as later in life. My mother uses the device. We have it for elderly individuals who want to age in place and need that remote support. So it really just covers a huge spectrum of all the different people that it can service. And basically, it consists of an application where you are able to communicate and oversee the goings on of the individual, and it comes with a device where you're able to track them in real time. So that's kind of just an overview of what it is. There's so much more which I want to show you, but I'd like to start with showing you a quick video that kind of soup to nuts explains what AngelSense is all about. And then I'll show you everything from the app and some of the devices and the accessories that we do use. So Patty, as long as I am able to share, yes, I can. Okay, great. I'm going to share my screen and show you the video. And if you cannot hear this, please let me know. It should make noise as soon as I hit play. Come on, computer. There we go. What?
AngelSense is an assistive technology designed to ensure maximum safety, effective remote support, and greater independence for individuals with special needs. It includes an AI-powered monitoring and alerting system, an app for multiple caregivers, and a wearable device with an assistive speakerphone and SOS button. Additionally, the AngelSense service offers premium customer care that is entirely staffed by special needs moms who use AngelSense with their own children. When you call, we understand. Proven to prevent emergencies related to elopement or transportation and other safety incidents. With AngelSense, children can experience a less restrictive environment and participate in independent activities that might otherwise pose a safety risk. AngelSense was designed to give parents peace of mind with unique features like proactive alerts, all-day, real-time GPS tracking, emergency search and rescue tools, an auto-pickup speakerphone, and a call request capability. Whether the app is open or not, AngelSense keeps parents informed about their child's location in transits, with alerts for arrivals, departures, pickups, drop-offs, and transit movements, and also notifies about unfamiliar or unexpected places. If a notification raises concerns, parents can open the app to see their child's real-time location and route on a map. The parent can then call the child's device's auto-pickup speakerphone to immediately speak with their child or anyone in their surroundings, and this way provide support, guidance, or even prevent emergencies from escalating into dangerous situations. If additional help is needed, at a click of a button, parents can share the child's live location with law enforcement, neighbors, family members, and anyone else that may assist. If the child is hiding or lost in a crowd, an alarm on the device can be triggered and easily be heard. If the child needs help or support, they can press the SOS button on their device to initiate a call. AngelSense is also a tool for skill building and promoting independence. AngelSense ensures safety and enables efficient remote support, empowering thousands of special needs children to take the bus to school, engage in field trips, visit friends' houses, ride bikes around the neighborhood, and achieve numerous milestones their parents never imagined possible. And as a child grows up and begins wanting more and more freedom, the ability to provide effective remote support through the auto-pickup speakerphone and asking for help when needed by pressing the SOS button help them realize their goals. Whether it's going to college or vocational school, getting a job or volunteering, or even living on their own or in an independent living facility, so many parents claim that AngelSense is the reason their children are able to be a part of the community and experience a quality of life they had never even imagined would exist for them. And the independent skills learned positively affect their long-term well-being, leading them to achieve a higher level of confidence and ultimately a better quality of life.
So hopefully that kind of gave you a nice soup to nuts idea of what AngelSense is all about. And what I'd like to do is show you exactly what it does. So, it is extremely user-friendly. There's a joke here at AngelSense that AngelSense is so easy that even Jeannie can use it because I really am one of the least technically savvy people in the world. But all you really do is once you receive AngelSense, you download an app and you plug the device in and it automatically starts to work. So let me show you exactly what you would see the moment that you plug it in. This is actually Let me go down a little bit. When you plug AngelSense in, it's automatically going to create what we call a geofence around that first location. The geofences, what are great about them, is a couple of things. One, they are auto-created. You do not have to create a geofence around any location. Two, you can have as many as you'd like. You can have thousands and thousands. There's no limit. And three, they're never forgotten. So you could be in one place, name it one time, and you go there 10 years later, and it's still going to remember that location. And the whole point of having the geofence locations named is very important because this is AI technology and it does learn where people go, and it does help to have them understand better types of elopement possible situations or transit routes, which I'll explain in just a moment. But the geofences, they do default to about a 100-foot radius around any location. You do have the ability, if you want to change the boundary, if you want to make it larger or smaller, set it left or right. But the fact that it is set up for you, there's very little you need to do. The only thing I would say is the most important thing is just naming it to whatever it is. So this is my home. We just moved here about 5 years ago. So when the geofence created around here, the first thing I did was put it in satellite mode and looked for all the pools. So I clearly made sure that geofence was away from those pools. And the reason is, I had mentioned when my son went missing on the first occasion, we didn't know for about 15 minutes that he'd even left the house. So what's great about the geofences is if my son was to leave this geofence, I'm notified immediately that Tommy has left home. So that immediate notification that there is a break in a geofence allows you to see where they are immediately and provide help if need be. So when he does leave home, I just want to show you what it would look like. You're going to see a transit route. Now, this is his typical route to school, but there's a couple of really cool things about this. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, he took off from home and he wasn't supposed to. Aside from me being panicked, I would be opening up the app to see where he was. But you can see not only where they're going, but if I don't know if you can see this that well, you can see how fast they're going and the direction that they're going in. So, you know, if he's going 1 mile an hour, I know my son is walking. If he's on 10, 15, maybe on a bike, 30, 40, maybe in a car. So it really can give you a better tell as to how fast they're going, how fast they might be wandering from you. But as I mentioned, this is his typical route to school. And because it's his typical route, like I said, the AI technology does recognize certain things. If he was to deviate from this bus route or end up in a place that he's not supposed to be in, you're also notified. So, you know, what does this have to do with safety? Well, you know, he's on a school bus. I let him go on the school bus for the first time last year. Aside from being very nervous, now I can allow him to do what other kids do and be reassured that he does get there when he is supposed to get there. So the transit routes are really great for that, even if it's not necessarily an elopement situation, for you just to monitor that they're going where they're supposed to be going. And then when they do get to a certain location, you're notified as well. So this is his school. A couple of really cool things I want to show you about different things you can do with geofences. So this being his school location, you can set the boundary even bigger. This is a fairly larger campus, so I do have the geofence set a little bit bigger. The first thing I want to show you is that you can actually set arrival and departure times for any location that you have set up. So when you think of a school, you're letting your child take the bus to school. You can set what time they get to school and what time they leave. So if they don't get there when they're supposed to get there or don't leave when they're supposed to, you're also notified as well. You know, we hear these horror stories, specifically with kids with autism, where they fall asleep on the bus and they never get off the bus to go into the school building, or when they all line up to get on the school bus for the way home, one child stays behind, maybe hides in a classroom or in a bathroom. So you're actually notified if they don't leave or arrive when they're supposed to. And then when you think of young adults or adults, elderly, maybe they have a program they go to every day on their own. You can set arrival and departure times for those types of places, like if they go to a day therapy or if they go to a certain program on their own, or even a job, and you want to make sure they have that independence to go there, but you can still monitor to make sure that they get and leave there when they're supposed to. So that's another thing that you can do with any of the geofences you have. And then all these colored boxes. This is what we call indoor mapping. So you know, I would love to be able to put little geofences around every little spot in the school, but just with GPS technology, you can't have all these tiny little geofences all near each other. So what we designed was indoor mapping. So you can actually map the inside of a geofence. So the purple is his classroom, the blue is the library, the green is the backfield, the yellow basketball, gym, cafeteria, so on and so on. So two great things that you can get out of this. One, if a child elopes inside a geofence, which can happen very often in school, I can attest to that, you could see where they are at any given time. Another reason is, you can do this thing called location playback, where it actually shows you where your individual was during the school day and how long they spent in any location. So one, if you want to make sure that they're going to certain therapies inside their classes. For me, I love it because my son, as verbal as he is now, actually we say the trick is getting him to stop talking. But if he comes home, he doesn't tell me what he does during the day. So if I see he spent a ton of time in the library, hey, Tommy, what book did you take out today? Or if he's in the backfield or the basketball court, oh, you played basketball, who won? And things like that. It really does help in terms of me being able to, stimulate a conversation between the two of us. So again, not just for safety, but also for things that have to do with the well-being of the family and the individual. So a couple other things I want to show you really quickly. This is another really cool thing that we have right now, and that is called Angel Picture. So that's my son right there. You can take a picture every day, either of the face or a full body shot of your loved one. So if there was an elopement situation, there is a way that you can share the live location, which I'll speak to in just a moment. When people receive the live location of your individual, if there was an emergency, they also see what they are wearing that day or just what they look like. So when you think about being able to share this with neighbors, people who may not even know him, law enforcement, and they know exactly what the person looks like that they're searching for, it can be extremely, extremely helpful. So before I get into that sharing, I want to show you a couple of the other features that we do have with this. One is the show my location. If we needed to find him right now, we could say, oh, okay, he's at the middle school or he's right off of Church Street, because you see all of these defined streets. But very often, and again, I feel like I have an example for every tool with AngelSense, but a couple of years back, I was at an autism walk with my son. He did take off. We were on a beach. So when I pulled up his location, all I saw was sand. So it really doesn't help in terms of knowing where to go to find them. So we have the show my location. By clicking on that, that's exactly where I am, and that's where my son is. So if you imagine this to be nothing but like a wooded area or a beach or a place that doesn't have defined streets, you know what direction to go into to find that individual. So it can be really, really helpful when you don't have the help of defined streets to assist you in a search. Another one of the features that we have, and I know that the video talked upon that, and that is the alarm feature. This has just been so fantastic when you think about individuals who are maybe are nonverbal, have wandered off, or are inside of a geofence, but you just can't find them. You can set an alarm off on the device so you can hear your way towards them. Again, another example, I was in an Old Navy with Tommy a couple years back. He did take off. They had to shut the store down. He wouldn't answer us. I set off the alarm and we found him in the dressing room. So again, a potential crisis is averted because you have these tools to get to your loved one more quickly when they may not be answering. Another one of the tools that we have is the first responders. So I want to preface this by saying the caregiver who has AngelSense downloaded for their loved one, they can add as many guardians that they want to the app. Now, a guardian has 24/7 access to the person who's wearing AngelSense. So, like for Tommy, it's my husband and myself. I mentioned my mother uses the device. My brother and I are the only ones that are guardians. But we have entered into our apps first responders. These people have no app. They have no login. They have no need of knowing where, your loved one is. But if there was an emergency, all I would have to do is click send emergency alert, and they automatically get a text message with a link that says, please help me find Tommy. And when they click on that link, they see exactly where he is, and they get the picture of him as well. So you could see how just helpful that could be in an emergency situation if you have people that are at the ready to help in an emergency that would not only be able to help you find them because they have the live location, but they also see what they look like. So it's just another really great tool we have. And along those lines, we have the share live location. Very similar to the first responders, except you haven't predetermined this group of people that would be getting the live location. So this would be more like on the fly. So all you would need to do is get the cell phone number of someone, put it in this right here where it says mobile number, and click share. And then they are given the live location of the individual. So if you think of maybe a temporary respite worker or a substitute therapist or even a police officer, a babysitter, somebody that needs to get that live location for a temporary amount of time, you can choose the amount of time that they get it, and you can share that live location with them. We actually work with a police department in Florida that has purchased a number of AngelSense for their what they call repeat offenders. And this little girl with autism, she did take off from her home. Her parents got the notification that she left home, but her parents were not home at the time. So they called the police for assistance. They found out the police officer's cell phone number that was going to be going to look for her, and they entered it and clicked share. He didn't have AngelSense, know how to download it, didn't get trained in it. He just got this link, and when he tapped on it, he got the live location immediately and was able to find her within minutes. So when you just think about just how amazing that can be, that you can get this information to emergency response services that can help in, God forbid, crucial search, it really just does wonders. Couple other things I want to show you real quick. One is the voice messaging. This is a brand new feature that we have with AngelSense, and I am loving it. And I just want to share it with all of you. Like I mentioned, Tommy doesn't really elope anymore, but we use this as a tool to help guide him through his independence, to help him in these years that he does need help, but we might not be able to be around him all the time. So what we can do is we can actually pre-record voice messages that are set to go off either when you send it or at certain times of the day, certain days of the week, or when they enter or leave certain geofences. So I have certain things like reminding him right before he goes to school to brush his teeth, to check the mail after school. We have calming techniques when my dog barks, little things like that. With my mother, other things you can do, because she wants to age in place, she's 89 years old. You can set reminders to take medication, or if they leave the home, it will automatically go off that says, Mom, don't forget to make sure you lock the door. Little things like that that can help promote independence in our loved ones, where you might not be able to be with them 24/7. So we see this with so many possibilities right now. These two here too, I just have to share. We recorded my son's voice. He has a mantra that he says when he has a meltdown. His meltdowns can get very, very bad, and sometimes he can inflict himself with a little self-harm. So when I see him getting into these types of situations, I can send this alert immediately where he's telling himself the techniques that he's learned to calm himself down. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless, but it's just so cool. I really wanted to share that with you. And then, like the video said, we do have the speakerphone capabilities on AngelSense. I'm actually going to stop sharing so you can see me in more of a Brady Brunch version as opposed to like the little thing on the side. But the devices do have a way that you can call them. So with the one-way calling feature, you call the device, but the device doesn't make a sound. So when you think of individuals who maybe have a lot of auditory sensitivity, they would maybe be set off by the bells and whistles of a cell phone. By calling it, it doesn't make a sound, but you can hear what's going on around them. So again, I mentioned Tommy just started taking the bus about a year ago on his own. If I know he's having a bad morning or something, I can just do a quick check-in where he doesn't hear me calling, where I can just make sure he sounds okay on the bus. We find it very effective in those situations. And then we have the two-way calling feature, which there's just so many things you can do with this. Like the video even said, you can call the device will ring, but it will auto pick up. That again, another crucial thing, because Tom's 11. A lot of kids at the age of 11 do have cell phones. My son can't manipulate one. It's just, we've tried, it's just not something he can do. So by me calling AngelSense and having it auto pick up, I can have a direct communication to him. And not just to him. If there's an elopement situation, the caregiver can call the device and it will auto pick up. And you can say, this is so-and-so. He is nonverbal. He has autism. If you are with him, can you tell me if he is okay? I'm on my way to get him. And you can have a conversation with people around that individual. Even something as simple as just, hey, Tommy, time to come home, to allow him to go play in the backyard with a bunch of other kids where you're not hovering over him at all times, but you can call him to get him home when needed. So, I mean, the possibilities are really endless when it comes to that two-way communication that you can have, and the remote support that you can provide an individual with that two-way communication as well. The devices also do come with that SOS button where you can push the SOS button and then the device will reach out to the caregiver saying that they need a phone call. Again, one more example that I want to share with you. This one was with my mother. A couple years back when she was still driving, she every day went to church, and she would drive to church, and it was just a direct, literally one direct road from her house to the church. So it was very easy for her. And there was construction on the road. And so she had to take a detour. She got lost. So she pushed that SOS button, and I happened to be in a meeting with my boss. And I just said, I got to check this. My mom is reaching out to me. I called the device and she said, Jeannie, I don't know where I am. She explained what happened. I pulled up the app. I saw her location, and I was able to talk her back to where she needed to go so she could get there on her own. And I could monitor that she did so. So amazing that you can do these types of things with this type of remote support, and you're allowed, and you can still afford that independence that is so important for any age, just to thrive in life. So I just wanted to share that with you as well. So now it just comes down to what AngelSense looks like. So I want to show you both of our assistive technologies. This is our wearable GPS, and this is our AngelSense watch. Now, everything that you saw me describe, from the video to my brief demonstration with the app, everything works exactly the same on both devices. It really just comes down to what the needs are of the individual who is going to be wearing it. So I'll start with this one. The wearable GPS is designed specifically so it cannot be removed. That is the major reason why people purchase this one. And in the kit, you're given these fabric sleeves, and you're also given these little magnetic keys and fasteners. So the best visual I can give you while I'm trying to explain this is the things that they put on clothing in the department stores that you can't remove. Same type of idea. By putting the fastener on top or underneath the key, you can pull out these little pins. And then with the device inside, you can actually pin it to their clothing. So for me, device goes in here, I put it in Tommy's pants or shorts pocket, I put the pin through and fasten it closed, so now he can't remove it. When he first started, he was so sensory conscious, he did not want to have anything on him, and if it was able to be removed, he would have removed it. So this was a big game changer for us, that we could actually attach it to his clothing and he could not remove it. There are too many accessories for me to share with you, but I do want to share you the most common second way that it is worn, and that's with the AngelSense belt, where you can put the device inside, you put it around their waist under their clothing, and you still fasten it closed with those fasteners. So if you think of our kiddos that specifically autism, take off their clothes, change their clothes often, or even just some of our individuals who may still have toileting issues, and you have to change their clothes constantly, because they take the clothes off, the device stays around their waist. You don't have to worry about taking it off and putting it back on. And if a child was to remove their clothes before wandering, it still stays on around their waist. So now with the watch, you can see it is bigger. So we don't recommend this for kids under the age of like 10 or 11, or, if you have really, really tiny, as I call peanuts, you want to make sure that if you want the watch, this is geared more towards somebody who is a young adult, a teenager, young adult, or beyond. What a lot of our young adults do like about this is that it does look just like a smartwatch. So when they're wearing it, it doesn't look like they're wearing assistive technology. It tells the time, it tells your heart rate, it even tells how many steps you've taken throughout the day. So it is something that can be sort of masked as just a typical smartwatch that other people may be wearing. But again, functions the same exact way. Now, this is designed to be removed. There are a bunch of different wristbands that we do have based on the sensory sensitivities of the person, but we also do have a lockable option. So you can get a wristband that you can actually lock to the wrist if you're afraid that that person might remove it when they're not supposed to. So there are options for that as well. But again, this is geared more towards a young adult and beyond, and this one is geared more towards a peanut young adult and below. So that hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. A couple other things I wanted to share quickly, and I'm sure there are a ton of questions, but two things that always come up in the questions. One is, what's the battery life like? Both of them basically have anywhere from a 24 to 36-hour battery life, depending on usage. But the good news is that we're working on all these new ways to make sure that battery life extends maybe 3 to 4 to 5 days at a time. Just because if you're in a geofence, as I mentioned, it pings every 30 seconds to double check your location. So we're working on where now, if you're in a location that is a known location, it's not going to keep pinging unless you leave that location. And we see that that's really going to extend the battery life. A subset of that question is, well, I need this to work 24 hours a day. If it doesn't, how do I charge it? Number one, the charge is super quick. So if it's at a 40% charge, less than an hour to get to a full battery. So we always tell people, rule of thumb, if it's not on the person, it's on the charger. And if you need it to work in the evening hours or even overnight, when your loved one is eating with you, bathing, or even in a car, you can charge it in all those situations, and it will last throughout the evening hours to the morning. And then when they get up in the morning and you get them ready for whatever they're doing during the day, eating, whatever, you can charge it then and it will charge back up. So people do have a way of making this a 24-hour reciprocal type of thing where it's only a couple of charges here and there. And the device will notify you if the battery level falls below 20%. So that's another thing that it does do. The second question I get a lot is it waterproof? I can tell you that it is unbelievably water resistant. We just can't use that word proof because we don't want you to just go swimming with it in the ocean. We do have waterproof options for the wearable device, but I can tell you if the watch or the wearable gets submerged, it's still going to work. I can even tell you as a mom, and I'm sure a lot of moms here have done this with like cell phones or key fobs. I have washed this thing a number of times and it still works. We just can't market it as fully waterproof. So we encourage you, if you are going to be doing things like an all day at the beach, you look into our waterproof option so you can use that. So you're guaranteed that it will be protected. So that's my little spiel. I do want to just circle back really quick, just from the mom version of me. I always thought that my son was going to have a handprint of my hand around his wrist for the rest of his life. I never thought I'd be able to leave him out of my sight to go play. I have kept him out of birthday parties and big events when he was younger, just for fear of what could possibly happen. And AngelSense has afforded me so much by allowing him to have that independence, to break my wrist from his, or my hand from his wrist, and allow him to live life as typically as he can. It's done wonders for him and his well-being, especially, and with our family as a unit, so much for us as a family as a whole. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to share my stories with you. I hope that everything I explained to you makes a lot of sense. And if you have questions, I encourage you, please unmute, ask away. If I'm going to check the chat to see if anybody put anything in there right now.
Yeah, I put something in the chat. Just I know this question has come up before about from parents for individuals with devices or anything that similar to what you know about the schools. How do the schools do most schools accept it? Is there an issue or is there a clearance or how does that all work?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. It's a great question, and it's a very multifaceted answer, but I'll try to be as succinct as I can. So a lot of schools do ask us, what is this? What does it do? And everything like that. We, over the years, have designed a faction of AngelSense called School Liaisons, and these are people that are designed specifically to deal with the family and the school that are having questions about AngelSense. What it comes down to is this. Once we explain AngelSense to the school, explain the benefits, explain how this could save a child's life who may wander from their facility, they are now starting to get on board with us. On top of that, one of the biggest issues that they do have is with that one-way calling feature. We have ways that we can set up what we call a school schedule. The school schedule will, like, let's say the school day was from 8 to 3. We would be able to disable the one-way calling feature at 8 o'clock and re-enable it again at 3 o'clock. So this way, if the school was worried about the family listening in, they would be at ease knowing that they wouldn't be doing it during school hours, but the family would still have use of that feature outside of the school day. We also have a way now that we can have what's called a school guardian. So that you can have it set up where an actual teacher, administrator, anyone at the school could actually have access to the app only during school hours. So if there was an elopement situation, they could handle it immediately instead of calling them on to say, hey, can you tell me where he is? Really, really helpful. We've found the more that we've been educating schools about the benefits of AngelSense, the more they're actually asking us to present to their families, the more they're asking us to get the word out to the families that this is an option. And we're seeing the bridge really mesh beautifully between AngelSense and the family and the school when they fully understand that this is a life-saving technology. This isn't necessarily something for listening in. And I just want to add, I know I warned you this was a long answer. We always make sure the schools understand, because they think it does, but it doesn't. The device does not record and the device does not take any video or picture. So far less invasive than a cell phone, which kids have in school all day anyway. So when we get that whole point across to schools, we do find that they are very accepting. I hope I wasn't too long-winded, but I hope that makes sense.
No, that was great. There is another question. Is there any monthly fee for the monitoring or use of the app?
Yes. So the device itself, there are different sales, but the device itself, just on the whole, usually ranges from about $149 for the wearable GPS to $199 for the watch. The monitoring fee is about $49.99 monthly, or you can pay for the year up front, which is about $539. But now, this is Southeast Ohio, am I right? I got that right.
Southwest.
Okay.
Southwest, I'm
Right?
sorry.
Sorry. No, you're fine. You're fine. So, your county boards, we are an approved waiver. I don't know if Katalin is here, but she's here. She could talk to this as well. We're an approved provider in the state of Ohio through the waiver. So you could even speak to your county boards. I'm sorry. Oh, hi, Katalin.
Sorry. Yeah, hi. Sorry, everybody. I'm driving back. I was actually just in Muskegon County. But yes, we are an approved waiver provider for all three of the HCBS waivers, and individuals can request that from their SSAs, and it will be approved if they have that budget at their disposal. Of course, each person has their different budgets and costs and whatnot, but we have lots of different features on our website. Most of the time, even right now, the device is free if you don't even have waivers, that you can buy it and just pay that subscription cost. So, and like Jeannie was saying, it just depends on what's right for the individual. How do you want to wear it? And we'll work with you, and we'll try to do everything we can.
Did anybody have other questions?
Does anybody have, I know when one time we were at the beach and we saw an elopement take place, but of course they didn't have any device on them. Total panic going on. Luckily someone found the child or had the child, and there's like beach monitors. I don't want to call them police, but they're like what would you say? Like just someone who is there to help if someone needs help. And they were able to locate the parent and reunite them. I think the child was only, very young, like 4, 5, but to see that happen, something like this would be very helpful.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Jeannie, I know I joined a little bit late. I was trying to log on. I had to pull off the highway and all that kind of fun stuff. But I was just wondering, I don't know if I caught you or not, why you actually got AngelSense, if you discussed that.
Oh yeah, no, they know my whole story.
Okay.
They know the whole story. Yep.
Yeah, it's the same thing, and we hear these heartbreaking stories, and we're like, please get this, because we can help you. But that's all we want to do. All we care. We know it's not right for every individual, and it may not be, but for any individual that it could possibly help, we want to make sure that they can have access to this. And I think that's the most important thing.
There is a question there if it's available in Cuyahoga County for residents.
Yep, absolutely. We are statewide providers for Ohio, and it is all covered underneath of the waivers. So individual options, the self waiver, and forgetting the third one. Jeannie, if you think of it, let me know. But it's all underneath the HCBS waivers. It is all covered under every single county in Ohio. And then if someone doesn't, they have local funds at like county boards and stuff like that. So if they aren't eligible for waivers, someone can go and request county funds, which is kind of like a mini grant. And then additionally, there are also companies that fund and raise money that will also help purchase the device if someone cannot afford that $40, $50 a month.
Right. And Naima, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I was just double checking in our system, and we are actively working with Cuyahoga County right now. So that's just to piggyback on what Katalin said. Some of the counties we haven't started working with, but even so, it doesn't mean that we're not going to work with them, because we are statewide, but we are actively working with your county at the moment.
Thank you.
Not at all. And I'm sorry if I butchered your first name.
Naima, it is.
Naima,
You're
okay.
close.
Sorry about that. Okay.
No worries.
And it sounds like if you are approved like throughout Ohio, I mean, for the most part, any parent that's on here or listening later, I would go to your county board, check with your SSA, reach out to them and talk to them to see if, they have the funds or for something, for AngelSoft or something similar. I would start with your county board and your SSA if you're unsure. Caitlin, are you able to put your website for AngelSoft, boy, oh boy, AngelSense, um, in the chat box?
I'll do it
Yeah,
for Kayla
Jeannie,
if
if you
she's
can do
driving.
that for me.
Yep, I'll
'Cause
do
I'm
it. If she's
driving.
driving, I'll make life a little
Oh
bit
yeah,
easier. That's her
Jeannie.
website.
Sorry.
No, you're
No,
fine.
that's okay.
There we
And
go.
then, yeah, I would just encourage them to go to their SSAs and ask for it. But also, one of the things that I do want to highlight that I'm sure Jeannie already did, maybe before I even joined, is that our entire customer care support team are all special needs moms who have been longtime users and work for the company. So when you call, you're not getting a call center, you're getting somebody who cares. They understand. They've either been there or heard it. So if they had any questions as well, I would strongly encourage them to reach out to just off the website and call that customer care service because they're gonna listen and they're gonna want to do everything they can to help.
I think I think having the website is a great way to start looking at everything, and being able to look into it. We will, I mean, we have AngelSense in our live binder. And then I uploaded the link that you had sent for the video. I have that in our Google Thought Drive so parents can reference that as well. And I would say if anybody has questions after this session, if they, come up with questions like I'm one that will think of something later, or what about this or what about that? I would definitely reach out to them to clarify if you have any further questions on some of the information that was discussed, or if you're listening later,
Yeah, and
after.
you let us know, Patty, too, if you want physical brochures sent to you or if you just want us to send the video link or whatnot, because our brochures do just have a QR code on them that you can scan and watch the highlights of the videos. So it's about 3 minutes and 30 seconds, so it's not too long, but enough to give a good highlight reel of some of the things that AngelSense can do. So, but if you ever need physical brochures or anything like that, you just let Jeannie and I know. We're already in an email together and we'll absolutely send that your way.
Okay, great. That's wonderful. Does anybody else have any questions for Jeannie or Caitlin while we have her on here, regarding AngelSense, or maybe, there's just many questions I know that are swimming around my mind of situations. I mean, there's hundreds of situations you can find probably throughout the day. But is there anything that comes to mind, or any concern or anything what you heard that maybe, you just need an answer to at this time? You can unmute if you'd like to. You can type it in the chat box or unmute. I think hearing about seeing what I've seen and knowing about, I'm not sure the first time I heard about AngelSense. It's been a couple years now, but I think it sounds like a great option for those who have, especially if you have an elopement issue, um, to help with that. I mean, that would be just heart-wrenching to me, to have to deal with an elopement, especially when you can't find them. All right, well, I don't see any questions. Do you have anything else to add, Caitlin or Jeannie, while you're on?
Nothing really. Just I know a lot of people do think of things after a meeting is over. Your head's got a lot of information now. I can't stress enough how wonderful our customer care team is. They will answer anything you want. So just please reach out to them, even if you want to talk to somebody about your specific situation and see if they can help you decide whether or not AngelSense is the right fit for you. I guarantee they will tell you from their own perspectives where they come from as well. And it becomes a real nice conversation that you can have.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. I'm going to stop the stop the recording just in case somebody would like to unmute and ask and didn't want to be on the recording. But I do want to say thank you to all those who attended, and thank you to Jeannie and Caitlin for being on here today and talking about this helpful device. 1 second while I close the recording.